Is how wide this door open. There are some plastic over here, some alloys in between. So it's a whole new platform, whole new chassis. This one is a little bit different. Hey guys, this is Jerry, welcome to the channel. This is the all-new Nissan Ariya. This is the second fully electric vehicle available in New Zealand for the Nissan range. We've been waiting for this Nissan Ariya for quite some time. It's been available in Europe, in other countries over the last couple of years, and it's finally here in New Zealand. Today we're driving the basic trim. This is called Engage, and that means this vehicle has a special pricing at the moment for $59,990 plus ORC. But if you're looking for higher spec for the Advance or Evolve, you are going to pay a little bit more, of course. If you're looking to purchase one of the new Nissan vehicles, contact us at Ebbett Pukekohe. We are your authorized dealer in Auckland, New Zealand. So from the exterior, the Nissan Ariya looks like a modern medium-sized SUV with the crossover shape at the back. It's competing with mainstream medium-sized electric vehicles on the market, things like Volkswagen ID.5 or ID.4, Tesla Model Y, and the Kia EV5 or EV6, and all those other mid-sized SUVs. The length of this vehicle is just under 4.6 meters long, so it's not a super long vehicle to be fair. It's actually shorter than the Nissan X-Trail, but definitely much larger compared to the Nissan Qashqai if you compare the Nissan lineup. The wheelbase stays at 2.775 meters long, and the width of the vehicle is just over 1.85 meters. So not a small size vehicle, let's put it that way. At the rear, Ariya logo over here and the Nissan logo are inbuilt inside the glass cover, and LED tail lights are also at the back. This one has the finish of black two-tone colors on the top. The wheel arch and side skirts, they are all glossy black finish. They are not like plastic finish compared to some other SUVs designed these days. The wheel size on this is 19-inch. There are some plastic over here, some alloys in between that of course help with the aerodynamic. At the front, we've got big, chunky black cover. They're not grille, of course. There are some black contrast inside the cover and the Nissan logo, of course. In terms of the design, I don't mind the design. It's quite it's not boxy, it's quite round shape. You can see the lines, you can see the top. But it's on par with many electric vehicles with the help of aerodynamic. The wheelbase is really long, so it makes the car feel quite solid on the ground. And yeah, looks all right, to be fair. Let's go to the boot. On this version, it's just manual tailgate. Under the cover, we are getting additional storage. You can, of course, slide it down if you would like a little bit more storage if you need. Covers again as well. There's no space saver underneath. They are just mobility kit, charging cables, and things like that, which is pretty standard. I'm not 100% sure about boot volume, but it looks somewhere around 450 liters of the total volume. Now, when the seats are down at 40-60 split, you are going to get a good amount of storage space at the back. Of course, you can remove this cover when you need to. Before we get inside the vehicle, let's quickly look at the charging cover. It offers Type 2 for the standard AC charge, CCS combined for the DC charge. Type 2 offers up to 22 kilowatts according to the brochure, so it's quite a big powerful three-phase if you have access to any three-phase house charging. Otherwise, 7 kilowatts means overnight charging. DC charge up to 155, somewhere around that. That means 0 to 80% could be around 30 to 40 minutes. And yeah, that's pretty easy. It's located on the passenger side. Now, is there a frunk at the front? Let's have a look. The answer is, unfortunately, no. So it's quite a compact size space. There are motors and things like that at the front. This is the front wheel drive. So single motor offers 160 kilowatts of power, where if you go to the Evolve, they'll get you the full twin motor performance model. Anyway, going inside, the first thing you'll notice is how wide this door opens. It's really close to 90 degrees. That means fitting your baby seats or get someone to jump to the back. It's going to be really easy. Seats-wise, the base model gets fabric cloth seats, where the high spec gets leather finish. Step inside. This is my sitting position at the front. I'm about 178 centimeters tall. We've got tons of legroom and good amount of foot space. The foot is definitely raised, as you can see, but it's not too bad at all. Seating space is quite spacious and headroom is no issue at all. Pockets in front, USB-A and USB-C charging plus 2 air vents. There's no tunnel in the center, so it's just a flat floor, which makes it easy. Armrest is nice. Even if this is a fabric interior, I still enjoy that. I still love that interior. And we got dual screens, which we're gonna show you. Let's close the door. Really solid. Look at that. That sounds satisfying. On the top, softer material, like they are maybe leather finish. Inside, leather finish again, softer material. Some plastic over here and on the speakers, which is fun. Door handles feel solid too. Very enjoyable space at the back. Now at the front, still same fabric seats. Some stitching, some contrast over here. Design-wise, it's pretty easy. Manual adjustment seats on this particular base model, where electric adjustment can be found on the higher-end models. Push button is here. The screen does have a small slow reaction, small slow start, but it is good-looking screens. 12.3 in the dashboard and 12.3 in the center display for your music, aircon, things like that. Reverse camera is available and parking sensor is available, but you don't get 360 on the base model again. Steering, it's quite similar to some of the other Nissans I find, but you don't get it in New Zealand. Something like a Nissan Note, e-Power, something like that in Japan. They do have this sort of thin leather steering and feels really, really nice. On the left, these are the most controls for your screen, for your music. On the right, you get your adaptive cruise control and things like that. They are piano black finish, so you're gonna get a little fingerprints here and there. There are some buttons over here. Dashboard looks clear, and you can change quite a few things for your navigation, for your audio, for your settings and things like that. I've done many tutorials on this particular screen, so if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link down in the description. Where if we move into the center, this is again the 12.3 inch, so it is like the Nissan X-Trail or Nissan Qashqai's big screen. Very solid in terms of response time, and very easy to use. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is all there. I believe the Apple CarPlay is wireless, where Android Auto is wired, which is just how the screen is designed for. But the major difference with this particular screen is you feel like the glass inside, and there's a panel or protection panel at the front, is the curved shape where you can see there's a curve around here. It feels interesting. Is it normal? You get used to it. There's no issue on that. Anyway, air conditioning control is all here. So if I'm covering that, you can see the loom underneath. They are nicely loomed, but even in the daytime, you can still see it. They are haptic feedbacks, and that means it's just really easy to use, very satisfying to use. But is it as good as hard plastic buttons? Probably not. When you are driving, you have to watch the screen, but yeah, no major issue. Small adjustment for your volume, which is cool. And if we move into the center console, I'll point out there's a light over there. So that's your ambient lighting that lights up even on the side as well. So very, very satisfying. I believe on the higher spec, you may get a few more colors and things like that. There's no tunnel in the center, so just free zones and for your things like that. Underneath, you get your USB charging and small storage over there. On the top, 2 cup holders, gear shifter, which is similar to most of the e-Power Nissans. Drive mode, again, haptic feedbacks, and e-pedal, which I could talk about when we start driving. This, where you have your wireless phone charging over here, so that's quite handy. There's a symbol over here to let you know your wireless phone charging is working or not working. So yeah, it's all relatively easy to use. Center console, there's a storage just like that. Then go to the other side, storage just like that. Build quality wise, again, leather red finish on the top, soft finish material on the top everywhere. They are all leather finish. There's a wooden like trim over here that goes around the doors. And one thing I really like, these golden, sort of rose golden trims, things like that. There's around the doors, around even the center console, around this side as well. So yeah, overall, very pleasant interior to be in. And if you're familiar with the Nissans, you're not gonna hate it. If you're not familiar with the Nissan, this is still a relatively modern interior to be, working with. And yeah, it's enjoyable for me. Now let's get ready for a test drive. First thing, visibility at the front, pretty good. There's a slope on the bonnet, so you can't really see everything on the bonnet. On the side, the wind mirror is reasonably sized, just medium size. There is a small gap over here to look at your gateway and intersections. And the rear windscreen is small, to be fair, because the sloping roofline, the size is on the shrinked side. But side, rear is all fine. There's no quarter window behind the second row, but yeah, it is fine. It is okay. All right, let's get started. Let's go through the numbers first. This vehicle is just a single motor front-wheel drive. That's 160 kilowatts of power plus 320 Newton meters of torque. That means 0 to 100, you are going to expect somewhere around 7.5 seconds on the Nissan brochure. But if you need more power, you are going to need to go to the four-wheel drive twin motor power. But let's be honest, this power is fine for most of the customers on the market. We are going to switch to a sport mode just to see how the sport goes around this area. Probably going from downhill first. Let's slow down to about 20 and see how that acceleration is. 1, 2, 3. There's a little bit of traction issue from the start, but once we get the traction rolling, it's pretty smooth. It's easy. There's a little bit of motor whining noise, and that's pretty much it. It's definitely not as super responsive but as fast as maybe, let's say, the Nissan Leaf back in the days. It's not a small car, it's much heavier than the Nissan Leaf. But the smooth transition and the smooth acceleration is always there, just as any other electric vehicles on the market. Now, in terms of suspension, they are pretty soft in most areas, and even on country road around Pukekohe like this, it is relatively easy to see what the suspension is working, what's it doing, and things like that. One thing I think this one stands out compared to other Nissan cars are probably its handling. If you have driven the new Nissan Qashqai, the new Nissan X-Trail, you know those are fairly comfortable vehicles, but the handling are not super, let's say, responsive or solid around corners and things like that. This one is a little bit different. I'm not sure what they did to the steering. Maybe it's due to the size, or maybe it's due to what they did with this chassis. It feels a lot more solid around corners compared to other Nissan products. Let's say the Nissan Qashqai and the X-Trail. It's just nice on the handling part. Acceleration, it's going to be faster than most other Nissan SUVs you experience on the market, of course. Yeah, just going around the corners and going around country roads on these cars, just easy, and it's effortless. And the steering feels a little bit heavy as well, and that heavy is up to a very satisfying amount of heaviness. That means it's, as a driver's car, this feels, I think it's a bit more sporty than the Volkswagen ID4, I'll be honest with you. The Volkswagen ID4 is comfort, but doesn't feel as, nice on the handling part compared to this. It's direct, it's front-wheel drive, it's ready to go whenever you need it. And brake is another thing. So this car is equipped with the I pedal, or it's equipped with the B mode. So once you are in the B mode, there's going to be some amount of regeneration. This is more of a, let's say, a level 1 regeneration level, where if you engage the E pedal, it's going to be quite heavy regeneration if you think about that way. And if we go into the B mode and there's no one behind me, I'm gonna slow it down, let the pedal go. You can see the rolling on the speedo. It's not going to completely stop. Instead, it's going to reduce the power, reduce the speed, and generate some power back to the battery. Where if you engage the E pedal, it's going to be very heavy regeneration, but again, it does not do a full one pedal driving on the new one, as Nissan has now cancelled that from the old Nissan Leaf, so no one pedal driving anymore. Just like this up here, I'm driving at 80, I'm gonna let it go, 1, 2, 3. You can see the heavy regeneration. It's just like what I'm pressing the brake, but again, it's not going to a complete stop. And we can start going. Whenever you start the car, it's standard on D, which is drive, with iPedal off, I believe. Next thing is the battery size. On the standard version front-wheel drive, they are 64 kilowatt-hour battery. That means the WLTP range is 398 kilometers, just 2 kilometers shy of 400 kilometers. So compared to some other competitors, you are going to get a lot more battery range, up to 500, up to 460, with maybe on the same segment. But it's not too bad. Probably if you, for yourself, if you drive the vehicle under standard mode, not under sporty, and you'll be fine to get 350, I would say, on the range. It's not the biggest battery. The battery is just relatively small or medium-sized level of the battery. But for most people, even 350 is probably enough for a wake commute. Another thing, noise level on this vehicle, it's pretty much similar to what you can find on the Nissan X-Trail. You're going to get some road noise, occasional wind noise here and there, but it is a well-built car and you are not going to get very, very noisy cabin from all over the place. We're driving on again country road here in New Zealand. You can find the road noise is absolutely acceptable in most places. There is also a small whining noise from the motor whenever you accelerate, plus when you reverse, there's a artificial chime that's gonna make that noise when you go, when you reverse. But it's that's pretty understandable. On this corner, you can see how easy to turn the steering on this vehicle, and it just feels quite sharp. The vehicle is putting the weight at the front to be able to turn around for you and things like that. So what are my thoughts about this vehicle? I really enjoy this car, to be fair, out of surprise. I used to think this probably would just be another Nissan Leaf, but jacked up and with the big wheels and with the bigger body and things like that, but it's not like that. It's a whole new platform, a whole new chassis. It's a whole new experience, actually. It drives very, very differently from the Nissan, but at the same time, there are some similarities from the Nissan, the Leaf, by the way. And it's an enjoyable experience. I think it is. It is very, very enjoyable. It's not that hard to get used to, the Nissan Ariya. But is it super competitive on the market? Maybe not. It could be a little bit better with the range. There's no argue about that. But at the same time, the equipment is still there. It's still a very, very comfy car. And they still got enough space for the family. There are still some unique designs where you can tell this apart from other EV manufacturers. But yeah, the decision is on yours, of course. So if you're looking to buy one in Auckland, New Zealand, contact us at Ebbett Pukekohe. Otherwise, if you enjoy this video, subscribe and like. That would be really, really helpful for the channel. That's the end of this video, and I will see you next one. Thank you very much.